In the last video, we've learned how to blend data to generate line charts with data coming from multiple sources. We've seen that we can get a very detailed graph when we increase the maximum number of points on the graphic. In this lecture, we're going to learn how to build a custom slider to control data aggregation so that our chart is lighter to load without sacrificing details. So let's head back into our report and create a new page. This time I've already done so, and I've named my page slider. And I've also already gone ahead and created a line chart for my vacuum sensor named Garner. So now let's plan out our slider. So what we want to create is this. We'd like to have a widget such as this one, where the user can drag the handle around from minutes to months. And when I move my slider around, my chart should update and aggregate data with my slider's selection. So in this case, we have 5 options: minutes, hour, day, week, and month. So I'm going to need 5 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, corresponding to minute, hour, day, week, and month. If my current selection is day, then my parameter will be 3, and my aggregation method will be by days. If I move my slider around and select hour, then my parameter will now take a value of 2, and my aggregation method should be by hours. If I move it again and select minutes, then my parameter should take the value 1, and my aggregation method should be by minute. Alright, so now that we know what we want, let's head back into our report and create that slider. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to edit our data source, and we're going to add a parameter. This is not the data set that I wanted. Let's just take Garner vacuum logs. So let's go into the data set. And we're going to create a parameter. So click here, not on add a field, but add a parameter. We're going to name it TDS time dimension. Oh, he doesn't like that. So just TDS then slider. And it's going to be a number in the range of 1 to 5. And I'm going to select a default value of 2, which was aggregation by day. Save. Return to the fields. So there, I have my first parameter here. And this parameter is going to have a range of 1 to 5. So it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. And now we're going to add a calculated field. So not a parameter this time, but a field. And we're going to name it TDS selected time dimension. So what we're going to do is that we're going to change the date and format it depending on the selected parameter. So let's go ahead and implement this. I'm going to use a case statement again. So when the parameter was TDS slider equals to 1, which is day. Let's make this then. Now we want to format our date. So I've already prepared that, and I'm going to copy the case statement So I'm copying it and I'm just going to paste it to make this faster. So let's take a look at this. I'm going to have to change my variables here. So my slider was named TDS slider. Change this. Change this. And this one. So let me explain what I just did here. So for my formula says that when our selected parameter is 1 here, then take the current date and change its format, keeping the year, the month, the date, the hours, and the minutes. And then cast that value into a text. We're going to do the same for the other options, but we just discard some details. So for when we select hours, we're going to discard the minutes. If we select days, then we're discarding hours and minutes, and so on. And of course, we finish up our case statement with end. So save this and close this. Here's my new calculated field. Click on done to go back to the report. And now we're just going to style this just to have a little bit more points. 5,000 maybe. $50,000. All right. So now we're going to change our dimension from date to selected date. So remember that the slider has a default value of 2. So now it should aggregate by day. So let's make this a little bit bigger, like so. Go into view. And actually, I think I'm aggregating by hour. Doesn't matter. Let's just add the slider that we wanted to add. So let's click on add a control and then add a slider. The slider should take TDS slider as the control field. So let's test this. Click on view. So if I change my slider around, all right, so the default value was 2, but 2 was hours. It wasn't day. So the result was already okay. And so now I've moved my slider to 1. So now my aggregation should be set to minutes, and it works. I have quite a bit of data here, and it seems like I have kept the minutes. Let's change this back to hours. And now it's aggregated into hours. Let's change that to days. And we're losing some details, but indeed we have now only one data per day. And if we continue moving this around, then we're going to lose even more details. So now I should be aggregating by week. So there you go. So I'm pretty happy with the result. Let's head back into the editing mode and let's take some time to style this a bit. So click on the slider and go into style. Let's first remove the text box and also hide the label. And we're going to add a custom text. There you go. And I'm going to make this maybe a little bit smaller. 12, so it should be minutes, then hours, then day, week, month. Something like that would be fine. Let's center this. Okay, better. All right, so that looks good. We're done. I think we've got all the elements to create a complete report here. Oh, but there is something missing, and that is a date control. So far, we've always selected the auto range for the date, which always selected the last 28 days, excluding today. But what if I wanted to give the ability to my dashboard viewers to change that date and view a shorter or a longer time frame? Well, Google made it easy for you. And just as you have a slider control, you also have a date range control. So let's add this. And I'm going to show you how it works. So just place the control anywhere and click on View. Now, what this new date control here will allow you to do is it's going to allow you to select a date range. So I could select, for example, say the last 7 days. Click on Apply. So there, the chart just updated. And so now you can select a longer time frame and then keep less data, or select only 1 or 2 days and then go into the fine details and show all the minutes, like so. Here. So I'm going to clean this up and move all of our elements on the same page. And I'll get back to you in the next lecture, and we're going to talk a little bit more about dashboards in general and reports.